Hello everyone, welcome to the long-awaited return to the Krinnos build diary. It's been a very long time, so I haven't finished this pier off yet, but we're back, we're doing some stuff, and the reason it's been a while is because I'm undertaking a quite big project. Now I have dropped a few little pictures here and there of some other buildings and houses and that little barn time-lapse did a very long time ago, but now we are going something a bit extreme, something quite big and grand, which I'm very, very proud of showing. Today, we are starting, certainly not finishing, but starting the Grand Palace. This is going to be the sort of centerpiece of this city, and from here, you really get it really gives a grand sense of thing. I mean, at the moment, it's only an opening sort of sketch, if anything. I've drawn out the sort of basic shape with red concrete, and then I'm using orange wool as sort of base down here. This is all going to be stone brick. It's going to have a sort of stone brick base, and then the main body, the red bits, will be deep slate brick. So the circular bits, we're going to have towers in the corners, and then it's not as sort of cliff-borne. My idea was sort of meant to be sort of suspended to the cliff. My main, I think I mentioned this in the first episode, my inspiration for this was going to be the citadel on Peladon from Doctor Who. That was my main sort of inspiration for this. But it's sort of gone a bit off. Now it's just sort of this big grand path. The sort of design of it and the shape is still sort of very inspired by that, but it's not a sort of in my head it was sort of tacked onto the cliff. I've made the cliff, when I made the cliff in World Painter, I made it a bit too sort of bumpy. It's not as if it was a bit sheerer, then yeah, because I don't want to like do a lot of world edit fiddling. So yeah, here it is, and I can go through sort of the basic plan I've got. So what this video will be me doing the rest of the outside, and then maybe doing a bit of the interior. So the plan is, the majority of this midsection is going to be essentially one giant corridor that cuts right through the centre of the mountain. So the idea is if someone very important turns up via the dock, they can get off their boat, come up the steps, go through this massive staircase. I want to have this as slabs, but even if you have to start the slab sort of here, they get like here, they get nowhere near the sort of entrance. So I had to make it these, otherwise it wouldn't work. I will pattern them. I will give them a pattern like I was going to do a pattern here, but I haven't got around to doing that yet. So there's going to be a big sort of doorway. So it won't be like, this is the shape of the doorway. I might have like a portcullis here or something as well. It's going to cut right through the centre of the mountain. And on this side, we're going to have a sort of a throne room. So it'll be sort of a big sort of throne room with lots of rows of seats, with a big sort of red carpet going through the middle, sort of akin to like a throne room, and it can be used for coronations, for royal weddings, royal funerals, all that sort of stuff. And then this side, we're going to have a ballroom, and maybe with a reflective floor. So how you do that with this game is you use well there to sort of copy the build. You flip it upside down and paste it underneath with some layers of glass in the middle, and it gives the illusion that it's reflecting. There's only an idea in my head. I don't know how big the room will be. And then I think these two I'm going to put into one big room, one big floor, and that'll have things like a library, a banquet hall, and bits and bobs like that. And then this floor will be things like bedrooms, so the guests, so royal guests, the actual royal family's bedrooms. And also, I have the idea of giving the royal family lots of sort of personal sort of amenities, so that they're gonna have their own little personal physician, their own personal like tailor to like make their like outfits and suits and things, and stuff like that. All like living within the palace. There'll all be things like servants' quarters. So there'll be other kitchens. So the bank will have its own. Is gonna have its own kitchen. Is the plan? It's gonna have its own separate kitchen, and then underneath we'll have kitchens that give food for help feed sort of the guards that sort of patrol the area, and people who live in the sort of upper apartments at tops. So if it's sort of like room service, they'll have like maybe they'll have like bells in their rooms that they can ring. Sort of like they had in like if you've ever been to like manors and stuff in that block is bugging me. If you've ever been to like manors and stuff in England, I guess you get them otherwise, but there was always like a room. There was always they always had most rooms had a little bell, and they connected to a sort of a ring of bells, a sort of section of bells that would sit in the servants' like basement level, and it would indicate if someone needed a servant. So you'd see the bell and have like a name of a room, so it would say drawing room or master bedroom or something. And if you heard that, the servants would know where to go. And I have the idea of maybe putting like a sort of private garden on the roof, maybe. So have things like trees and stuff all sitting on the roof. And maybe have a bit of a roof, sort of like what I've done here. It's like very simple. Possibly using, I think I'm going to use dark prismarine, I think, for the roof. Give it a bit of a roof, bit of a trim, and then have it flat and have like lots of interesting, maybe have some little trees and stuff. Maybe even have like a river or something going along it. Like they're really they're really rich. They can have really whatever they want. Let's inaugurate the build. I think the best way to start building is by turning all this orange into stone brick to see how it looks. That's sort of a good sort of thing. So if we just sort of replace near, let's give it, say, 200 blocks, orange wool, 298, which is stone brick. Is that everything? Oh, that worked. I suppose that'll actually a 200 block radius. Alright, there we go. That's it started. That's sort of the throwing of the gauntlet. Begin the build! Or the time lapse. Alright then. So it's been 3 months between sort of roughly that time between now and the time lapses you've seen. Those time lapses were sort of a few bits apart. It's currently Christmas. You're probably seeing this in the New Year, so Happy New Year. And we finished the castle, as you can see. There it is. It's all done with a few little details, a few tweaks compared to what you've seen it before. And we've also, if I open the map, we've done quite a bit. So what I have done is copied this section of the palace, of the castle, flipped it, and put it over here, so now it cuts through our little mountain we had here. So I have changed my idea from the original map. I've changed my ideas a little bit, only a little bit. So my original plan was that you go in here and there'd be a cut right through. I was always going to have it come through the mountain, but my idea I first had was to have a corridor essentially go through here like that. And then on this side, we have the sort of throne room. And on this side, it would be like a big ballroom, and then all the room stuff would be sort of above it. And we'd have these big grand wooden doors I was going to build, and that'd be like sort of slightly ajar to keep the corridor sort of bit enclosed and stuff. And I like the idea. Well, I wouldn't have pitched it if I didn't like it. But I was like, is there anything else I could do? But so what I'm instead going to do is I'm still going to have the sort of town sort of envelop sort of a bit around. We'll have maybe little bridges that sort of go over it. It'll be this sort of thing. So it'll be sort of all on a platform, but it'll be different levels and stuff. There'll be lots of pathways and things. So instead of being a wall, it'll be sort of slightly higher up. So it'll be sort of like, so if not maybe like this, it might be more akin to that, to be honest. So it'd be still quite tall, and things, rather than like the deeps that we've got here. Because I think that looks a bit nicer and it just seems a bit more defendable, and it'll sort of go up sort of to where the sort of bits of gravel are, these sort of random bits that have landed there from a few world edit blunders. Maybe when I do the walls, I might leave it and then go do something else and then come back to do the buildings. I'll do like a few at a time, and I can start doing stuff everywhere else, like doing things like the monastery and the mines and all that sort of stuff. I pretended actually to go back onto World Painter, take this big thing back onto World Painter, and then somewhere up here dig like a ravine. Like, I don't want to do it anywhere near this because I don't want to screw this up. If I did it really high up somewhere up here, and then maybe do something better with these streams, I actually build them coming out of the top of the mountain. But of course, before we go up, we also have to furnish this place because it's quite big. That will show you. So yeah, it's the exact same structure. It's not as towered on this side. I'll show you what I mean when we go through it. But it is quite big. This still needs a plan. But once I've done this and done this interior, I'll start doing more stuff up here. I just want to do something a bit more big. Bit more big. Yes, exactly. Because I've done this. I've done the build. I've done like one build. I was like, no, I want to do like, I feel like it wasn't moving a lot. So that's why I'm done it, because I've been planning and designing what's going to go in here. So would you like to see how much space we have to play with? Boop. So here is, and I've done some maths. The base area is roughly, okay, I can't remember what the area was like from here to there, but the volume of this main structure, minus that little bit, is roughly 1 million blocks. So n by n, and these little grooves here are marking where all the floors go. So 4 main ones, and then we've got like a top floor at the top all the way up here. So I don't know what's going to be all the way up here. It'd be like a massive attic or something. But yeah, we've got about 4 floors. I mean, we're not going to use all the space. It'd be sort of like how I would build a TARDIS. So it's going to be this mass open space, lots of corridors, and then the rooms will be just as big as they need to be. So I'm not going to fill every single part of the space. I don't expect myself to. It'd be amazing if I did. I'm not planning to. But to do this was a pain. So what I did, I don't know if I had to do it, but I did it anyway. Because you can do the paste minus air, so it copies everything within the 2 points, the one tool. But you can choose to not copy all the air blocks, so it means when you place something down, you're not going to essentially cut a hole in where you're building. Another thing I did to stop me from having to clear out the inside, I filled this entire space with orange terracotta, and then so essentially you have it's sort of filled in, and then when you repaste it, you just use a remove command and it removes. You can do it with any block, as long as it just has to be a block that you don't want to get rid of. So it wouldn't make sense if I filled it in with, say, deep slate brick and then hit remove deep slate brick. I would essentially have skinned my entire frickin' build. But actually, is the command here still that I used when I was copying? Ah, there it is. So there's I found with copying there's a mask thing. So if you put -m, and then it means it sort of so there's minus thing that means when you paste something you get rid of it. This is sort of the opposite. So this is copying exclusively these blocks, and I have also learned there is actually a limit. I think we're near the limit. There you go. That's the chat limit. So I was only that many characters away from the the command limit. So this is roughly every block that is used here. And you think there's not a lot of blocks, but there's a lot of different types, because of course there's I mean, actually, now I think about it, there might be a few holes near the bottom because they use cracked stone brick down the bottom here. So maybe that's all the bottom bit, and that, if I quickly show you, actually, it's all sort of buried. Yeah, let's see. It's a bit further into the mountains. It's a bit more buried into things, so that bit's sort of been smothered by the mountain. And it's a bit more how I imagined it to be. And I've started to detail it a bit. I've added these little bit of mossy. So I've added a bit more dirt sort of around in patches, and got some mossy bricks that look like sort of weeds and stuff are growing from the dirt and into the rock. I might add some vines and stuff later on. Maybe even some hedges, like some little trees and stuff along the bottom. So the next step is, when I'm doing the interior, will be where the windows will be. But I'll do it as I'm doing the interior, so I know where the rooms are. So I've also got to plan out what the rooms are going to be. There'll probably be a lot of duplicate rooms. Now I think about it, I know one thing to say is I don't want to do many duplicates, but I think with this I might need to. So this side is going to be where the throne room is going to be. The throne room it'll go the majority of the way. This side is more for, this bit will be quite thin and have lots of more military stuff. But I want to have a few more houses here, because I like the idea of it being a bit more open, and it feels a bit sort of, when I'm building it, I want to sort of tell the story of the city and the people that live here with the building. And I thought, if I had the throne sort of facing out into the sea, like facing away from, because this is all one big country essentially. It's all one big nation, and having the king or the queen or whoever face out this way, facing away from the country, feels a bit sort of weird. So I thought, if I have the throne room facing inwards and also have it quite accessible, so instead of having one grand staircase, maybe sort of two or three that sort of splinter off, and then we have all the buildings sort of around here like that. And it makes it feel more open. It sort of makes it look like the monarch is more accepting. It's like, come in. If you have a query, come in. And in the throne room, I'm gonna have lots of chairs in the throne room as well. It's gonna be a bit more like it's gonna look a bit like a church. So you have lots of like sort of pews, and you have like a sort of an altar or throne at the end. But I want to be sort of like, they're welcome to come in, and I don't know if it'll be double as like a court, maybe. I don't know what else or other sort of use they have, but I want to be sort of this big sort of not communal space, but just a big open space. This is more Minas Tirith than Mount Doom, if you will. It looks threatening because it's all made of like quite a dark brick, but yeah, it does look a bit plain. But yeah, like I said, when I build like the windows and stuff in, I might start I might even start texturing it a little bit more. I mean, the whole point of this series was to sort of make me sort of try new different techniques I haven't done before. 2025 is definitely all about sort of the bigger projects. In fact, all the same sort of rubbish. That's it. Explain the same sort of rubbish, different year. Another issue with these bloody towers. These towers will go right on my wick. And I will see you next time. Thank you very much, and goodbye.
Didn't go quite to plan.
It was funny though.